Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us for today's ITWeb webinar, today co-hosted with Obsidian. We are going to tackle a specific area in terms of multi-cloud in the DevOps environment. Now, a multi-cloud operating system is the de facto standard model for IT in organizations today, and it comes with its own dependencies and challenges, some of which developers are not really familiar with. There can be implications around configurations, around how automation has been implemented. And when you have a DevOps process that is linked to a buggy application process, it could get out of hand. It could get you into trouble with lots of very big consumption bills. How do we manage this? How do we control this? How do we get the best out of multi-cloud environment using automation platforms and such without really falling into these traps? It's not enough to just have the automation platform tool. There are some principles around this, some things to think about in terms of your design, your approach, and of course, selecting the right tool.
Does Obsidian Terraform? Of course we do. We have been using Terraform for several years now to do all sorts of bits and bobs within our business. One of the principles that we have kind of worked on, at least at my time, since I got to Obsidian in 2018, and we've been working towards, is this principle around everything is code. We want everything to be code so that we can manage everything via Git and via Git pipelines and things like that. If you don't have that visibility, you can't observe what's happening, you're going to be in trouble. And I would even say that that is true even if you have your own kit on site still. It's just more traditional kind of problems that you'd run into. And if you're not monitoring and something goes down, well, guess who's going to let you know? Your customer's going to let you know, oh, this thing is down. And that's not a space. You don't want the customer to tell you that you're down. You want to be the one telling the customer, listen, you're down.
You're kind of almost seeing two sort of towers develop in businesses and enterprises, whereby the one is the guys that are actually enabling the business, and they're the sharp end of the stick because they're building applications, and the quicker they can build that application and add value to the business, the quicker they start affecting the bottom line of the enterprise. And obviously for that reason, they are considered super valuable, and just give them whatever they want. But you cannot just give them free rein because it's going to just spiral crazily. Then you have that other tower, which is the traditional, infrastructure guys that are kind of morphing into almost like a DevOps, SecOps type role. And they struggling to keep a foot. It's two very different balancing acts.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time today. It was very interesting, very informative, a bit complicated, but I suppose that's the cloud world for you. It's kind of bringing these things together that's really important. That being said, thank you very much also to our audience today for joining us. This was a presentation and a webinar with Obsidian and HashiCorp and ITWeb on multi-cloud automation, and not only DevOps, but bringing a lot of your cloud environment together with the right tools to ensure you don't get those horrendous bills, you do get things to happen, and you get those transitions you want in the multi-cloud world.